Making headlines this hour, President Dr. Mohammad Muizzu declares cultivating virtuous habits within oneself to safeguard the nation's independence must become the resolute goal of every Maldivian citizen. Hina Walid, the Minister of Arts, Culture and Heritage, declares that sustaining the spirit of freedom and firmly upholding national sovereignty depends entirely on the collective heart, hand and help of every single Maldivian citizen. President Dr. Mohammad Muizzu says the Maldives has reaffirmed its commitment to strengthening solidarity among member states of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation (OIC) as it marks the 50th anniversary of joining the bloc.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to PSM News in English with me, Idham Naeem. Before we begin our news broadcast today, I would like to express my well wishes to all our viewers and especially Maldivian citizens on the joyous occasion of Maldives' 61st Independence Day. President Dr. Mohammad Muizzu and First Lady Sajda Mohammad participates in the official flag hoisting ceremony held early Sunday morning to commemorate the 61st anniversary of Maldives' independence. The event was held at the Republic Square at 6 a.m. The President and First Lady were joined by Vice President Hussein Mohammad Latif and other senior government officials. Upon their arrival at the Republic Square, President Muizzu and First Lady Sajda were greeted by the Minister of Defence and National Services, Hassan Rashid, and the Minister of Arts, Culture and Heritage, Hina Walid. The flag hoisting was conducted with full military honour. Following the flag hoisting, a special prayer was recited as part of the ceremony. The ceremony was then concluded with the national anthem performed by the Maldives National Defence Force MNDF's military band. The Maldives celebrates its Independence Day each year on 26th July. President Dr. Mohammad Muizzu stresses that strong social cohesion is essential to preserve the nation's pride in its independence.
The President made the remarks in a post shared on social media to mark the Maldives' 61st Independence Day. In his message, he extended Independence Day greetings to all Maldivians and paid tribute to the national heroes who sacrificed their lives to secure the country's independence. President Muizzu said the greatest responsibility facing the nation today is to safeguard the independence won through the sacrifices of previous generations. He noted that fulfilling this responsibility requires strengthening patriotism, enhancing the capabilities of young people, and fostering a closely united society to preserve the pride associated with the nation's sovereignty. The Maldives is marking its 61st Independence Day with a series of events taking place over 2 days. Echoing the President's remarks, First Lady Sajida Mohammad said that the foremost responsibility of every citizen today is to ensure that the sacrifices made by the nation's forefathers are passed on to the hearts and minds of future generations. The First Lady said that the greatest blessing of independence enjoyed by the Maldivian people today was achieved because of the immense sacrifices made by those who came before them. She added that the nation's highest duty today is to ensure that the true story of those sacrifices for independence is conveyed to the younger generation. She also said that it is a national responsibility to instill in young people a deep sense of patriotism along with the courage and determination to overcome any challenge that may arise in safeguarding the nation's independence. In addition, she stressed the importance of nurturing a generation grounded in knowledge and good moral character and prayed that Almighty Allah grant success in fulfilling this responsibility.
President Dr. Mohammad Muizzu declares cultivating virtuous habits within one's self to safeguard the nation's independence must become the resolute goal of every Maldivian citizen. The remarks were delivered during an official ceremony commemorating the 61st Independence Day of the Maldives, where the nation's leader elaborated on the rationale behind honoring individuals who have rendered long-term service to the state. He added, every person who has served the state over a lengthy period possesses noble qualities, the President noted. Integrity, trustworthiness, loyalty, diligence, and sincerity alongside patience and profound dedication are the hallmarks consistently demonstrated by these civil servants, and it is crucial for the broader public to adopt these very traits to ensure the preservation of national sovereignty. The President explained whenever the nation lost its independence in the past, it was a direct result of certain Maldivians lacking these fundamentally instilled virtues. Conversely, he observed these commendable habits were vividly demonstrated through the noble struggles of every hero who fought to reclaim the country's freedom. The President articulated, true independence can only be genuinely experienced when a nation achieves autonomy across multiple dimensions. He maintained the preservation of a national freedom is inextricably linked not only to political sovereignty but also to independence in foreign and domestic affairs, the degree of judicial autonomy, and the economic and social liberties secured by the state. Highlighting the strategic priorities of his administration, the importance of foreign policy in sustaining national independence was underscored during the address. President Moise affirmed the current administration will consistently prioritize the overriding interests of both the nation and the Maldivian people above all else. Hina Walid, the Minister of Arts, Culture and Heritage, declares on the occasion of the Independence Day that sustaining the spirit of freedom and firmly upholding national sovereignty depends entirely on the collective heart, hand and help of every single Maldivian citizen.
Invoking the words of the late Ibrahim Shihab, a renowned Maldivian political analyst, Minister Hina underscored that national independence will endure by maintaining friendship and cooperation among individuals, within society, and across the entire nation, with everyone safeguarding each other's interests and remaining safe from discord and corruption. Urging national solidarity amidst differing political views, the minister called on citizens to respond with love and a pure heart whenever summoned in the name of the country, uniting behind the overarching interest of the state. The address was delivered to mark the 61st observance of 26th July since the proclamation of the Maldives as an independent, sovereign state in 1966. The ceremony held to mark the occasion was attended by President Dr. Mohammad Moise, First Lady Sajida Mohammad, Vice President Hussein Mohammad Latif and his spouse, alongside head of state institutions and distinguished dignitaries. Extending congratulations to President Moise, his spouse and the Maldivian people, Minister Hina lauded the head of state as a leader elected on an explicit pledge to protect independence and nurture and sustain nationalism. She noted that mandate ensures that the administration places its highest priority on preserving national sovereignty and expanding its horizons. Reframing sovereignty beyond legal agreements, Minister Hina asserted that independence is not merely a bilateral agreement, but the global acknowledgement of the distinct character of a people. As the Maldives celebrates its Independence Day on the 26th of July, Minister Hina observed that Maldivian independence possesses a history spanning thousands of years, sustained across centuries by the spirit of freedom, faithfully passed down from generation to generation. Preserving that heritage, she explained, requires transmitting both past bitter experiences and future risks to younger generations, ensuring fidelity to national character within an interconnected world. Reflecting on darker chapters in the nation's historical narrative, Minister Hina cautioned that historical failures of independence were consistently linked to internal complicity, citing historical trials, including Ali Raskafan being abandoned on the battlefield as two divisions turned their backs, the betrayal by the two sons of Hassan Tajuddin, and the forced signing of the protection agreement. She highlighted a recurring lesson that whenever our independence has faltered, somewhere at its root, affection of our own people was there. characterizing nationalism as the thread that binds us all together and the undisputable foundation of society. Minister Hina detailed policy efforts aimed at elevating those core traits. Minister Hina concluded her address with prayers for divine blessings upon the nation's heroes and martyrs of freedom, expressing gratitude to all guardians of liberty and calling for the perpetual preservation of Maldivian sovereignty.
Vice President Hussein Mohammad Latif extends greetings for the 61st Independence Day to the nation. In a statement published on the social media platform X, he offered sincere good wishes for the occasion to all Maldivian citizens. Underscoring the country's enduring freedom, he observed in his remarks that the nation must remain in a state of independent sovereignty for eternity. The Maldives initially became a British protectorate in the year 1887. British authorities did not exert influence over the internal and domestic affairs of the Maldivian people during the era in which the country remained under their protection. The annual national holiday is celebrated to commemorate the pivotal agreement established between the Maldivian and British governments on July 26, 1965. The occasion marks the precise historical moment the British government formally recognized the Maldives as a fully independent state endowed with complete governing authority over its collective constituent islands. President Dr. Mohammad Moise says the Maldives has reaffirmed its commitment to strengthening solidarity among member states of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, OIC, as it marks the 50th anniversary of joining the bloc.
In a message commemorating the milestone, President Moise described the OIC as a vital platform for promoting unity among Muslim nations and addressing the challenges facing the global Muslim community. The President noted that the Maldives became a member of the OIC on 20th July 1976, less than a decade after the organization was established, beginning what he described as a partnership built on mutual respect for sovereignty, solidarity, and support for the development of member states. Reflecting on the OIC's role over the past 5 decades, President Moise said the need to respond to the concerns of the Muslim Ummah remains as urgent today as ever, underscoring the organization's continued relevance. He also highlighted the Maldives' participation in Islamic summits, meetings of the Council of Foreign Ministers, and other high-level forums, saying Maldivian diplomats had contributed to discussions on climate resilience, women's empowerment, Islamic finance, and efforts to strengthen the organization. The President said the relationship between the Maldives and the OIC extends beyond a traditional alliance, adding that the organization's principles of Islamic values and justice resonate strongly with the Maldivian people. He reiterated the Maldives' support for the rights of the Palestinian people and called for accountability and justice for Rohingya Muslims and other Muslim communities facing hardship around the world. Concluding his message, President Moise reaffirmed the Maldives' commitment to advancing the objectives of the OIC and working with fellow member states to promote practical and effective solutions to the challenges confronting the Muslim world.
Minister of Foreign Affairs Irtisham Adam says the Maldives' progress since independence has been made possible through strong partnerships with the international community as she marked the country's 61st Independence Day at a diplomatic outreach event.
Addressing resident and non-resident ambassadors, high commissioners, and representatives of international organizations in Male, Minister Irtisham said international partnerships had supported the Maldives through its development since gaining independence. She also reaffirmed the Maldives' commitment to a rule-based international order, dialogue and diplomacy, multilateralism and international cooperation under President Dr. Mohammad Moise's Maldives' first foreign policy. The foreign minister invited international partners to explore opportunities to invest, innovate and build in the Maldives, saying collaboration would help shape a future based on partnership, resilience, and shared ambition. The event featured a presentation highlighting the Maldives' achievement over the past 61 years since independence, alongside opportunities for future collaboration. Cabinet ministers, diplomats accredited to the Maldives, representatives of international organizations, and officials from the President's Office and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs attended the event. According to the Foreign Ministry, the gathering was organized to celebrate the country's achievements since independence, strengthen diplomatic engagement, and promote new opportunities for international partnerships.
South Korean President Lee Jae-myung hosts an AI summit in San Francisco, bringing together the heads of NVIDIA, OpenAI, Anthropic, and Broadcom with top South Korean business figures to accelerate efforts by Seoul to make the country a global AI powerhouse.
In opening remarks, Lee said South Korea would lead the way to a new era of AI in partnership with global technology companies. Lee separately met NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang, OpenAI CEO Sam Altman, Anthropic CEO Dario Amodei, and Broadcom CEO Hock Tan before joining the South Korean government-backed summit in San Francisco. Samsung Electronics Executive Chairman J.Y. Lee, SK Group Chairman Che Taiwan, Hyundai Motor Group Executive Chair Yui-san Chung, and Naver founder Lee Hae-jin also attended the summit. President Lee delivered a keynote address unveiling a San Francisco AI declaration that outlined South Korea's AI ambitions and its vision for technological cooperation with the United States. According to South Korean officials, about 150 executives, investors, researchers, and startup founders attended the summit. On the sidelines of the conference, NVIDIA and SK Group unveiled a $500 billion plus US dollar AI initiative spanning large-scale AI data centers and next-generation memory. As part of the agreement, SK Telecom plans to build a 2-gigawatt data center powered by Vera Rubin chips and SK Hynix HBM4 high-bandwidth memory chips. The data center is due online in 2027.
UN spokesperson Stefan Dujarric says UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres is deeply alarmed by a renewed campaign of Houthi attacks on commercial shipping in the Red Sea after Yemen's Houthis claimed strikes on 2 oil tankers a day earlier.
The Houthis said they had targeted the tankers, raising concerns about a potential new threat to global energy supplies alongside disruptions in the Strait of Hormuz.
The Secretary General is deeply alarmed by the resumption of Houthi attacks on commercial vessels transiting in the Red Sea and the renewed threats to maritime navigation. The attacks on commercial vessels claimed by the Houthis risk further heightening regional tensions and widening of the current cycle of escalation with the potential to draw Yemen deeper into the regional conflict. Further hostilities in Yemen will undermine prospects for peace and cause serious economic, humanitarian, and environmental consequences across and beyond the region.
Dujarric warned that the attacks risked escalating tensions across the region and could draw Yemen further into a wider conflict. He said renewed fighting would undermine efforts to secure peace in Yemen and could have broad economic, humanitarian, and environmental repercussions. Guterres called for an immediate de-escalation and urged the Houthis to halt any further attacks in line with UN Security Council resolutions demanding an end to assaults on commercial shipping in the Red Sea. He added that freedom of navigation through the Bab al-Mandab Strait, a critical maritime choke point linking the Red Sea and the Gulf of Aden, must be restored. The Houthis' threat to shipping has heightened fears of disruptions to one of the world's most important oil transport routes at a time when traffic through the Strait of Hormuz has already come under severe pressure from regional tensions.
Venezuela's foreign minister says the country has formally notified the United Nations of its irrevocable decision to withdraw from the International Criminal Court, which had been conducting a multi-year investigation into members of its armed forces and other officials.
The government justified the move by alleging a geographical bias within the court, claiming it disproportionately targets nations in the global south, specifically across Africa and Latin America, Felix Placentia said in a post on X. Echoing his words, acting President Delcy Rodriguez said the institution had been used to target the country. The move had been expected since December, when Venezuela's National Assembly voted, a month before the U.S. removed former President Nicolas Maduro from power, to repeal a law ratifying the Rome Statute, paving the way for the withdrawal. The court, which was established to prosecute war crimes, crimes against humanity, genocide, and the crime of aggression when member states are unwilling or unable to do so themselves, has been investigating alleged crimes against humanity in Venezuela.
LeBron James announces his decision to join the Philadelphia 76ers for his record-extending 24th NBA season.
The league's all-time leading scorer spent the last 8 seasons of his glittering career with the Los Angeles Lakers, leading them to a title in 2020 after 2 separate stints with the Cleveland Cavaliers and 4 years with the Miami Heat.
I had a moment, obviously when it happened and embracing that moment and seeing my family and my friends and, people that's been, around me since I started this journey, even before the NBA. So, definitely had a moment right there, very emotional, just to, knowing just, me be from a kid from a small town in Ohio and I had a moment there, but I don't think it's really hit me on what just transpired. As much as I tried to live in the moment, it was kind of a blur.
The 41-year-old James, who last March surpassed Robert Parrish's record for most career regular season games played, has continued to perform at an elite level despite his age. He earned a league record 22nd consecutive All-Star selection last February during a season in which he averaged 20.9 points, 6.1 rebounds, and 7.2 assists over 60 games.
A ring-tailed lemur born at Colombia's Cali Zoo in June progresses well under assisted hand-rearing after veterinarians detected a lack of maternal contact during its first 8 hours of life.
According to zoo veterinarian Camilo Mendoza, the baby lemur named Diana was removed from her mother after staff observed her being left on the ground for prolonged periods, abnormal behavior for primates whose infants must remain clinging to parents constantly. The infant weighed 70 grams at birth and now weighs 88.1 grams under 24-hour monitoring by veterinarians, zookeepers, biologists, and nutritionists. Care includes feeding with milk replacer every 2 hours, incubation for temperature regulation, and strategies to reduce human imprinting, such as using a stuffed toy to simulate the mother during feeding. Ring-tailed lemurs are endemic to Madagascar and listed as endangered by the International Union for Conservation of Nature due to habitat loss, hunting, and illegal trafficking. The Cali Zoo emphasized the case forms part of its conservation work for threatened species.
That concludes news for now. Thank you for watching PSM News. Have a good day.